Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
All right, we are on lesson 21, day 3, session 3, measuring centimeters and meters. So yesterday we talked about feet and yards, and today we're going to go into centimeters and meters.
All right, so let's warm up really quick. On this slide, we are looking at a meter stick. So I actually didn't have a meter stick available in my classroom today, but I did want to show you a picture. I don't know who this guy is. I just got him off of the internet, but he's holding up a meter stick. So a meter stick is very large compared to a ruler with 30 centimeters on it. On day 1, we discussed how many centimeters were on the meter stick, and we're going to just take a minute to discuss it again. Now, we can't look directly at one when we're teaching this way, but Mrs. Walker, can you remember how many centimeters were inside that meter stick?
I think there were 100.
You're right. It's easy to remember because it's 100.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many are on a meter stick? 100 centimeters, and I'm going to write it the short way, cm.
Good.
Now, here's that tricky question. Just like we did yesterday, it said how many yards are in a yardstick, and we were like, well, duh, 1 yard. So, again, how many meters are on a meter stick, Mrs. Walker?
1.
1. Yeah, exactly. 1 meter. Now, the short way to write meter is just m. Did you know that? 1 m. But I'm going to go ahead and do it the longer way. 1 meter.
Mm-hmm. Looks good.
Okay. Now, we're going to just pretend that we're at school and we are going to be measuring our Promethean board, so the smart board up at the front. If we were going to be doing this, we could use a meter stick to find the length across to see how long that board is. Now, the thing that I could tell you right off the bat by looking at our smart board in the classroom is that it's definitely going to need more than 1 meter stick to get all the way across, right?
For sure. Mm-hmm.
So what do you do, Mrs. Walker, when you have to use more than 1?
So remember, you can make that little tiny mark just so you know where to start your next 0 and then put your next one up. So you can see.
I could just go make a little tiny mark like that with a marker?
Yes.
Okay. And then I know that I can pick up that meter stick. I can move it over and start again at 0 to know how long. So if you're looking, we know we started at 0 at the edge of the board. And 1 meter stick was how many centimeters, Mrs. Walker?
100.
Okay, so I know, let's just pretend this is an equation for a second. Okay. I know that this is 100 centimeters, and I know I'm going to be adding, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to put 100 plus, okay? Yep. Now, if we look over here at the bottom, how many centimeters, where did we stop?
It looks like 80.
I agree. Do you guys agree? You do? Okay, so I think you're right. I think that it's 80 centimeters. So my equation looks like this. I'm just going to fix it for a second. So it looks like this. 100 centimeters plus 80 centimeters. That's how long this board is. Well, what does that equal, Mrs. Walker?
So it equals 100 plus 80 is 180 centimeters.
We can't forget that label, right?
No, labels are so important. We're not talking about monkeys or elephants.
Or you know what I always like to say, but I won't say it now. Boogers.
Ew! Mrs. Cross.
Okay. We could also use a measuring tape to find the length of our board. Now, the upside to using a measuring tape is that you don't have to pick it up or draw a line because measuring tapes are longer than 100 centimeters. So you could measure straight across and know exactly how many centimeters long that board is. To do it, you hold one end of the measuring tape at one end of the board. You have a friend pull the measuring tape across to the other end of the board and you look exactly at where it stops. Take a look. Where does it stop, Mrs. Walker?
180 centimeters.
Did we get the same answer both times?
We did.
Yeah, I think it's 180 centimeters. All right, let's take a look at the measure it. So when we were measuring with 2 yardsticks, we had an equation. We said that you could add 180 together to find the total length of the whiteboard in centimeters. Why can you do that? Why did that work, Mrs. Walker? What should I say?
Let's see. Well, it was kind of like the equation that we did, right? 100 plus 80 got me 180 centimeters. So,
well, let's think. How many meter sticks did we use before we moved it?
Well, we used 1.
Okay, so capital letter, 1 meter stick is 100 centimeters
Plus, we had to use 80.
We used 80 more centimeters to finish measuring. That equals 180 centimeters. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so then we have number 2. It says that longer objects can be measured in meters. 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. A meter stick is 1 meter long. How long is the whiteboard to the nearest meter? Okay, can I just tell you what I think?
Yeah.
Okay, I think 2 meters. And I think 2 meters because I know that 2 meters is 200 inches, right? So 100 plus 100 would be 200.
Yes.
And we said that the board was 180 centimeters. Well, 180 is closer to 200 than it is to 100. So I think it's 2 meters.
I would agree.
Do you have another way of thinking about it, Mrs. Walker?
You know, I was thinking about, like we did before, and doing half of 100.
Okay.
So half of 100 is 50, but 80 is bigger than 50. So I would say we have to go over to the 2 meter mark.
Perfect.
That's how we got
Look at that. Our brains 2 different ways, same answer.
Yep.
That's what's great about math. Why could it be easier to measure a whiteboard with a measuring tape than a meter stick? I kind of blurted this answer out earlier, didn't I?
I think it's way easier because...
So I'm going to write that. I think it is way easier because we need that because word.
Right, because you don't have to stop and mark. You just stretch it out and you're done.
Perfect. Okay, let's move on and do some apply it.
All right, so now we're going to circle some objects that are easier to measure with a centimeter ruler, or underline objects that are easier to measure with a meter stick. So remember, we're thinking ruler, centimeter, ruler.
Little, I'm sorry, I'm backwards.
Little,
She's over
or...
here.
No, I wouldn't want to hit Mrs. Croft.
Oh, she's not being nice to me today.
So, Mrs. Croft, hot dog.
Ooh, okay. So I know a hot dog's about this big, right? If I think about a bun, that's about a hot dog. I definitely don't think that I would need something giant to measure it. So I feel like I would use a ruler.
I agree.
Okay, so I'm going to circle that, right?
Yep.
Okay, circle a hot dog.
How about a jump rope?
Ooh, jump ropes are really long.
They are if you stretch them out.
If I used a ruler, I'd have to make a lot of lines and keep moving it. So I feel like it would probably be easier to use a meter stick.
Yep, agreed. Ooh, a pencil.
Pencil.
Well, some of your pencils are this short, and I say, we can't be
Don't
using
sharpen
that,
it.
right? And then our pencil is a normal size. So what do you think?
I don't think that I would need something gigantic unless I was measuring a lot of pencils.
Right.
Okay, so I think we're going to circle it.
I agree.
Ooh, your height. Well,
Oh.
I am proud to say that I am longer or taller than 12 inches or 30 centimeters, one ruler. So I think no matter who you're measuring, me, the shorty, or the taller, nicer Mrs. Walker, you would probably not want to use a ruler. What would you want to use?
You want to use a meter stick.
A meter stick. All right. Ooh, this book. So if
So
we were
our
going to
math
measure our
book.
math book.
I think a ruler.
I agree.
We could use a meter stick, but we'd have to, really have it stretched out. So I think a meter or a ruler.
A ruler.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Now we have this key. It says, what is the length of the key to the nearest centimeter? So we are, again, rounding it to whatever it's closest to. So if we look, it stops right past the 5. Do you guys see this mark in the middle that's a little bit longer than these other marks? This is the middle line. So if something goes past, if it's on that middle line or it goes past that middle line, we go up to the next number. But if it comes before that middle line, you go to the number, the smaller number, right?
Yes.
So look here, this key, does it end before that middle mark or after that middle mark? Before. So that means it's not to the middle mark yet. I have to go to the number before, which is 5. So that answer would be 5 centimeters long. All right, what is the length of the ribbon to the nearest meter? So we're estimating how many meters this piece of ribbon is.
So we have to look at the magnifying glass and kind of really look in there. I'm saying it looks like 91 centimeters. But if you look at the question, it's not asking us centimeters, it's asking us meters. So what do you think? 91 centimeters.
Well, it's not 100 meter sticks, right?
You're going to use 100 of those big long sticks?
100 of these? No way.
No,
it's not even 90 of those.
No.
Would you even need 3 of them?
3 of them?
What would you need?
You just need 1.
1. So the answer would be A. All right.
All right.
That's it for Wednesday. Good luck on your green page. We hope you're working hard. We still miss you like crazy.
Keep working on iReady.
Sometime soon. Bye, friends.
Bye.